Good morning, sexy souls. How are you all doing? Welcome to Weird and Woo Woo, where I'm weird and we all get a little woo. Okay. I hope it's all good. I hope the camera angle is fine. Oh, I'm not putting that in there because I'll freaking lose it. Like I'll grab my phone out of there, but I'll lose my danged chapstick. And that's not like any other chapstick. That is like got oils and stuff like that. It's really good. It doesn't make my lips feel funky. I have this because I feel like we are going to get a little bit of I feel like we're gonna get a little bit of like instructions, and sometimes I have to write those down. Like so. Um, I don't know why my hair always ends up looking and it's like it's getting caught in my thing. Anyways, um, probably need to cut it. I don't normally have this long of hair. It goes like way down in the middle of my back. And I get caught when I'm driving. It irritates me. Okay, so I'm gonna give you my spiel. This is a weekly check in. You are a sovereign being. You get to determine if, how, when, where, why any of these messages might apply. My recommendation is to never Cinderella it to make it fit. Now, I do recognize that we have today the winter solstice, but also Christmas for some this week. I am not touching on that unless like there's something very, very pertinent about that day. You probably won't hear anything like that come out of my mouth in regards to the holiday. I'm going to. I don't know why. I feel like maybe I should open that more. I don't know. Um, so because we already know, right? We're looking for things that we may not know or that we're not aware we need to pay attention to closely. So that is the point of the weekly check-in. Um, not to be captain, although sometimes spirits captain obvious and they kind of tell you what you're like, oh, really? You don't say. But we try to avoid being captain obvious, right? Right. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. Um, and they keep using the word instructions. So it's almost like I feel like a bit of the message is going to have some instruction for certain people. Now, again, we don't Cinderella it to make it fit. Okay. So don't. I don't take on the heavy weight of how you choose to apply stuff. So um, put your big girl, big boy panties on and use your discernment. Okay. I had no intentions of grabbing this, but apparently that's where we're going to start. We're going to start with new era elements. 6 of Cups came out first with the Hierophant. Well, shoot. Feels like a soul contract of some sorts or some kind of soul tie. Tower. Oh, baby, baby. Okay, we're going to put that back. Let's get it to come out correctly, okay? 3 of Swords. This is the one that I said, let's get it to come out correctly. It came out correctly. The 5 of Swords. 3 of Swords, 5 of Swords. Tower represents something that's inevitable, something that's coming down. Something that's coming down. I just heard something that should have never been erected. Something that should have never been erected. Um, let's clarify the Three of Swords and the change. Three of Swords is like a separation. It can represent grief, sadness, sometimes numbing to that. Two of Pentacles, change. Like the path is changing. There's a separation that's leading to change. So put it back. Not me. Heard acknowledgement. This either is happening this week or this is something where this energy is very prevalent because of the type of week that it is, because it is a week of connections, family, holidays. This can be a very difficult time of year for individuals who do not have the support systems or who have gone through some type of a separation, deaths, things like that. Um, so this could just be highlighting this energy. Like it may be amplified since we have the Five of Swords, like it's on the mind a little more. Where there's this idea of change. And they said the change is for the better. Defeat. Five of Wands. Oh, the webs we weave. It's like an orb weaver. Seven of Wands. Five of Wands is just a bit of a struggle, a bit of it's nothing that takes you out, right? Five of Wands is kind of just feeling like pulled in many directions. Um, it's like the grating feeling, the growing pains, one could say. This came out. The walking away is leading to something coming in for you. We got the Knight of Cups that then leads to the Ten of Pentacles. So, because we have the Eight of Cups, whatever the separation is or this sadness, it does indicate that seems to be more prevalent this week. It does indicate some level of like willingly pivoting to a different path, one that really reflects yourself. So this is like, and again, the Eight of Cups really talks about a willingly walking away from something. So this would be a separation in the sense of not because of passed on loved ones or anything else like that, but people, places, scenarios that you've left behind that become very evident because of the type of energy that we're in. They do want me to bring up the solstice again, so that might have something to do with feeling like you're in a completely different season now. Something that should have never been erected is what it it feels like when I say that somebody is like a little upset. Um, it doesn't mean that there weren't beautiful experiences and love for certain people, places, things. What it means is that it was a road or a path that you never like, it wasn't really meant for you, so it seems more of a detour, and again, every experience is can be beautiful. Any experience can be beautiful. But this is just one that like something as a result of moving down a particular path, you erected something that seemed very immovable, very rigid, very I don't know why I'm getting institutionalized because it's like the idea of there's a difference between structure and institution. Structure is malleable, can grow, evolves, reflects the present. A like a institution is something that is erect, that is regardless of anything else in its environment, any new experiences. It is not malleable. In fact, it's very fragile as a result. Uh, it's kind of like a false foundation, something very fragile that because we have a tank and a wall built around that tower, so it's like somebody defended this and really did put in a lot of work to keep and maintain it, because of its fragility, and I just get this sense of, like some people will exist in a low level uh, constant state of anxiety. And so they don't even realize that they're in fight or flight all the time. It feels like that. And that moments of joy or feeling happy and appreciative of this really came down to when one could satiate the beast, that inner monologue, that inner um angst that it's like as long as I could get that the lizard brain that wants to say stuff, if you could keep it quiet, then you took that as everything was going well. This is a prosperous situation. It wasn't real love or real peace. It was just like satiating the noise, is what it feels like to me. There was noise. And so this is something like it just should have never been erected because it created a whole dynamic that you had to like pull down brick by brick. It created a whole state of existence that you then had to pull down. Um, and it was painful to a certain degree because we have the Three of Swords. It caused grief and mental torment. The Five of Swords on this one really says torment. That's the word. So it just should have never happened. There's no chastising for the fact that it did. Hello, or that you went down that path. It's just saying, and I think that this is something that you would agree is like, it should have never gotten to where it got. It should have never gotten to where it got. Um, oh, um, in that fashion, even though it was really easy to dismantle, it took time to clean up. It still caused a mess mentally and emotionally. And somebody's just like unnecessarily. And so, you know, but it had to happen in order to change path. Again, you can't erect a new structure on top of a improved foundation until you bring the old one down. You cannot reconstruct until you deconstruct, and that was the whole point. So now that that's happened, and I want to say that there is this, why is this the right thing? Like it's just because whatever you are facing is also unknown. And so it's kind of like, despite the fragility of whatever this was and the amount of work that it took to keep it, um, like I just feel like defending it and working to keep it erect. Uh, it's like, yeah, but whatever I face could be equivalent to that. Is the idea of better the devil you know than the devil you don't kind of situation. And the Five of Wands is it's just, it was work and struggle and a bit chaotic as a result. Because again, oh, the webs we weave, right? It's like to get out of that, the intricacy, the delicacy, and so again, you had there's this idea of having to admit defeat was difficult for somebody. Like, maybe you stayed in it as long as you did or kept this erect as long as you did because you didn't wanna admit that you were wrong, you didn't wanna admit defeat. But the change that you're making right now, so you really I just feel like so much intricacy with this web. It's kind of like it in whatever this structure is, again, there's a tank on the outside, there's a wall right here, like, whatever you had to do so much to keep it where it is. It's almost like it just feels like, you know how slime when your kids play with slime and it gets into every nook and cranny and you're like, "Oh my god." Like, my child has decided sometimes to take his toy cars, and he has smashed the living and immersed it, and then he brings it to me like I'm supposed to just get it all the little pieces out, right? And I'm like, "Buddy, what did you do?" And that's what you felt like. So, it felt I just heard you caught strays, like, I don't even talk like that, but they're showing me something that was caught in this web. They're talking about the stickiness of the web. Like, you may have felt like you're in a predicament, a pickle kind of a situation to try and undo all of this. It just feels like things or people got caught up in it. Like, whatever this is, this tower that had to come down, it infiltrated so many areas, people, things in your life that it was a bit of a struggle to make the pivot because it wasn't this clear cut easy. Just because you could hold on, just because it's easy to rip a cobweb down doesn't mean that it's easy to get rid of. You ever walk through a fucking cobweb? You feel that bitch for like another 2 hours. You're like, oh my God, where is it? There's a little string. It's getting there. And it's like it sticks to everything. For it to be so fragile, it somehow managed to stick around like it's not even funny, right? So again, whatever you had to do in the Seven Wands is strictly for yourself. It is, and there's a sense of having to step up and do what's necessary to unravel this, to admit defeat. It does feel as if whatever this thing that you erected that shouldn't have been erected, kind of like you were caught in the crosshairs of other people. So that's where I think catching strays is like you were catching things from other directions that didn't have anything to do with you because again, I am also getting like you were stuck and caught up in other people's bullshit. It just took a lot to get out of certain things. Again, despite this being a very fragile structure, it seemed to stick to every fucking thing. So that's a lot to walk away from, Eight of Cups. A lot of different things that you allowed this structure to infiltrate that you thought were really for you, that you felt really good about. Again, Eight of Cups, things that once meant something to you, that used to be sustenance and pour into you. You find, and you may be pulling away in this destruction. You lost more than you thought you would. Because it infiltrated so many areas of your life. You may have again lost out on certain situations, opportunities, people that you're like, there's no way. This happens a lot with divorce where like people end up losing friends because certain friends and certain dynamics, like you realize they're saying fair weather. So it's kind of like, but in doing so, you are inviting in a completely different opportunity for the Ten of Pentacles. something that you couldn't have. If you're consistently trying to defend and uphold and maintain and carry, like, take on the responsibility of holding this structure together, you can never achieve the 10 of Pentacles, because in this situation everything is on you. If it's that fragile, you cannot reach the 10 of Pentacles. I don't know why they're saying it like that. Throwing in the white towel. So like white towel kind of reminds me of like a white flag, where you kind of like you surrender and you submit, or you're at the mercy of someone else. Like, I can't fight anymore. But it's weird the way they're saying it, because throwing in the towel is like, okay, I'm done. But the white towel is like has this feeling of, I get thrown in the towel is like giving up on something, but the white towel is kind of like you're done surrendering to something. You're done being at the mercy of something. Let's see here. Let's get specifics about the tower, and then we'll move over to this other thing. Hermetic Tarot. I just heard, why are you holding on? I don't know if somebody asked you that. Somebody may be trying to hold on for appearances. I heard keeping up appearances. So maybe in the act of trying to get the web off of you and kind of like unfold, clean up the mess from the tower, you're also trying to maintain appearances. So this, to me, that would be like not letting people know about what's going on. About, it's almost like moving in silence and keeping other people in the dark. Um, so maybe something about this week, you realize that some people that you will end up losing as a result of this, because you may have kept it quiet for a period of time. We'll see. Tell me about the tower, please. Something about 16 might be significant. And we have 3 5s out here, so that is a major overhaul change. We have the Hierophant, which is 5, the 5 of Swords, and the 5 of Wands. That's 3 5s. Magician. It just feels like you're the thing. You're what made everything work. My heart just went like that with that. You made everything work. And the Judgment card. Again, it didn't take much, because if you're not the one holding this up or keeping it intact, it would just come crumbling down. Again, you question why you even went down this path, why you chose this structure, why you erected this in your life, why you let it go on this long. Um, I mean, the Judgment is making a decision. The Magician is taking all that effort that you put into maintaining this tower into actually bringing in what you want and desire. There's something more to the judgment card. Like you're a very powerful person. How you manage to handle and maintain and whatever whatever that was. They're also giving me like 9 to 10 years. That's for somebody. It just feels like that tower. Like they're showing me what it takes to keep that tower up, and they're like, I just feel like easy like that. Easy like that if you were to use that talent to be the magician. The magician makes shit happen. It's like, all right, let's keep. Wait, tell me about the judgment card. It's sometimes almost better to be a magician than an emperor. The emperor works hard for what it is to build their empire. The magician, like that, as if by magic. Knight of Cups for the second time. King of Cups, Ten of Pentacles. It's like a last minute decision, but it's almost like all you have to do is make the decision and you get exactly what you like, the ease at which something comes in. All you have to do. We had a reading like that. All you have to do is decide. All you have to do is decide. And it is. Explain. I'm hearing work with what you've got. We have the Three of Pentacles with the Devil. Now I'm looking here. King of Cups is the magician. Um, Exceptionally more discerning and on point. Like the King of Cups is very discerning about what they pour their energy and investment into. Very selective. Very selective. Um, Feels as though this Knight of Cups is the idea of unless unless it takes me to the Ten of Pentacles, because the Knight of Cups on both out of both decks came out with the Ten of Pentacles. It's like moving away from the how you thought, like one path was your trajectory to the Ten of Pentacles or what you thought would be the Ten of Pentacles, the remainder of your life, like how you would live out your days, to a pivot of how you're going to live out your days. It's like making a decision of how do I want to end my life? Like here's the first half of my life. What about the second half? How do I want it to look? And then we have the Three of Pentacles and the Devil. It just feels like working with the devil. Um, and it feels a lot like old. That's the old energy. because that's under the I was trying to ask about the King of Cups, and the King of Cups is having the discernment and being really selective. It's almost like, we talk about having, again, w you thought peace, love, and success was satiating the noise in the brain, that part of the ego, getting the ego to hush, to shut up, to feel satiated. And that wasn't living. That's not how you wanted to live. But it just ended up, you created this web of whatever. And it's like, because the devil is like all those, the things that we are stuck with, the patterns, the habits, the things that we feel like we have to do. Very materialistic. Both of these cards are very materialistic. Three of Pentacles and the Devil. It's almost as if somebody is leaving a life where achieving goals. And this reminds me of, this is what I always said. Something that I noticed about my parents growing up is that if they didn't have a project or an external goal to focus on, they really didn't get along. They didn't like each other very much. It's almost as if this is like the appearance of things meant more than the actual experience and the connection. This is as long as everything is the checklist. It is the house with a white picket fence, 2.5 children. Da, da, da. Like if I do this, this, and this, then my ego, my lizard brain will shut up. Like I've achieved these things. That means I'm supposed to be good. Like that's good. Okay. Okay. Like do I have stability with this? Okay. I'm good. It's like nothing really actually reflected what you wanted to experience, what you felt called to, what you loved you at all. It reflected some template or appearance of things, and it never gave you what the world said it would. Like you went down that path, and it never gave you. All it did was it wasn't real joy. It wasn't real love. It wasn't real um, feeling like you were thriving. You were just constantly working towards something to no end, with no end in sight. And all you had to do was make a decision. I feel like that's what got you into this particular path, and trying to uphold this structure and how it was erected is one simple decision, and you never realized just how much a tiny little simple decision impacts how everything unfolds in your life. It seemed too insignificant. You went down the path of ego. What ego told you. Again, sometimes we think that if we shut ego up, that thing that wants to constantly compare and judge and uh, dissect, and that somehow it means this is the path I'm supposed to be on. And nine times out of 10, it's not. The path that you should be going down is the one where ego feels like it is having an existential crisis. If the ego is happy, I can guarantee you you're in complacency. You're not stretching, you're not growing, you're not experiencing, you're not thriving. Um, you are satiating and maintaining. And again, achieving very materialistic things, things that you could check mark off a list. These little SMART goals made you feel like, oh, I'm actually doing something, when in actuality, you didn't feel connected to at a soul level or heart level to anything. That's why the King of Cups is out here. Because this time around, when you make decisions, it's with your heart, it's with your soul, not your ego. The ego did not give you what it said it would give you. There's a void. There's something that's also the judgment call. Something's calling you. It's like your soul is aching for something, a different experience. And so you had to let this tower come down and you had to play cleanup and you had to get yourself out of sticky situations and really choose the path that was for you and about what you wanted, not what ego said would make you happy. So let's look then at the Six of Cups and the Hierophant and your Secret Tarot. Eight of Swords, Hanged Man. You waited on this. Hanged Man is a major pause, really trying to understand something, looking at something through a new perspective. Like you waited before you did anything, before you did this. Hermit, you waited, you stayed, you waited. You wanted to figure some things out. You had to understand how you got to that place. What your ego was sounding like. That might have been part of the Five of Swords, the torment in this separation, was understanding just how much your mind is the one that hurt you. It was through following ego and following your mind and following all of that you got to a place of, it was at the expense of your heart. You never achieved what you thought you were achieving. Star. This is where you're supposed to be. This was the path you were supposed to go down. Again, you weren't supposed to go down the other one. You weren't supposed to erect the structure that you did. And yeah, dare I say, you weren't supposed to try and maintain that for as long as you did. You know that though. You know that, you understand it. You're just like, why for so long did I defend this? Again, this is the tower. It has a whole, let me see if I can get closer. It has a whole wall around it. See this wall? Trying to protect the tower with a tank. But something flew right into it. There was no, you couldn't, there was only so much you could do. It was inevitable for this to come down. The amount of energy and the amount of time you put in to sustaining and maintaining that. When you could have had what you really wanted so much quicker, so much faster, Magician. And this is kind of like home. There's a soul tie or soul connection, soul contract that is home for you. Because, you know, the North Star takes you home. Yeah. The sun is also a star, right? North Star takes you home. This was the yes path all along. Not the one where we work and materialistically achieve, but the one where we share a soul connection. Tell me more about the Six of Cups, please. This is the one that would be successful, stand the test of time. We have three major arcana here, which really we have four if we include the Hierophant, but just in clarifying, we have the Star, the Sun, the fucking Chariot. This is the one that's in alignment with your soul. This is the one that spirit says, yes. This is the one that takes you home. The, wish fulfillment. So if they're going through this spirit and they are making the change, and something about this week really amplifies the energies of what you've gone through and what you're trying to move towards, um, what does this soul contract have to do with this week? Four of cups. Oh, hidden. Four of cups, seven of cups, the world. The four of cups is that liminal space where you, again, you've disconnected and detached from your current environment, circumstances, and situations, which we've seen, right? Three of cups, but have yet, especially in this one, have yet to take or accept the other cup, that proverbial cup from the sky, which I think has something to do with the Knight of Cups. Seven of Cups is, it's usually confusion, but I don't understand because we saw on the split the Eight of Swords at one point, and so there's a holding back that's shown in the Four of Cups. Seven of Cups, though, you notice that despite the confusion, the answer is very clear. They're going for the two cups. The two cups. Maybe one feels like maybe now's not the right time. They're unsure if now's the right time, given the dynamic. Again, given the dynamic, maybe they've held back because they're like, holidays are coming up and things like this. And it's like, I don't know. At this point, I don't see that they have a specific person. But the idea is I haven't made any moves, and it very well may have something to do with the holidays. But also, the holidays are amplifying this desire. I mean, they know darn good and well. There's confusion, but the confusion isn't about the Two of Cups. It's not about the soul connection. World, there may be distance. There may be a gap between the two. They just don't know how to. There's definitely somebody that feels alone this week, like like they're in a separation. They're separated from whatever else was between the Three of Swords and the Eight of Cups. But they haven't moved towards anything else. And I feel confused as to whether they should, given the dynamics of. I mean, again, this might be where appearances matter, like the appearance of something. When we said that way at the beginning, like the idea of like, oh, how shitty of it would be for me, because like holidays are already a very sensitive time. Maybe that's the reason why they haven't, is because they're just like, let me, despite the separation, despite all of that, let me leave well enough alone until we get beyond the holidays. So I don't. Talk to me about this. Why the holding back? Ace of Cups. I mean, whatever connection is represented by this soul contracty tie. Um, it is the answer to something. It is exactly what somebody's wanting. It would for sure work out. Like my chest just did the, when you feel like your heart just drops as soon as I said that. But again, not making a move, almost like staying still, like not not involved with something. Like they're laying low. They're laying low. We have the Ace of Cups. The world could, it talks about one thing ending and another thing beginning. It's the culmination of something. It's the wrapping up of something. It could be the wrapping up of the year, wrapping up of things that have transpired, the separation. Um, I just don't know. But there's still Seven of Cups in this shit. So it's like it's got to be on their mind to potentially. So we have three cards, major arcana, all saying, hey, this is an answered prayer. This is a fuck yes. It's going to work out. You don't have to worry about it. Blah, 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 blah. Chariot, things are aligning. Perfect. But yet the person is still like, Four of Cups, Seven of Cups. But then, so that was first. And then the person being so uncertain and not sure, sandwiched between, yes, we know it's going to work out. There's a victory here. Everything's aligned. It's all good. With another set, the World, Ace of Cups, Six of Wands. Utterly surrounding this person going, ee. Tell me about the World. Here, font. Jesus, this is a lot. I wasn't, okay. Page of Cups. I mean, any level of connection to bring it into reality, you have to initiate that, right? That's the whole fucking point. Page of Cups, initiating something. Three of Pentacles. Kind of like bringing something into reality. Two of Swords. That's where they're like, how do I make this happen? I don't know if the holiday making them feel like, okay, this is probably inappropriate. I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't. Like, again, we talked about Five of Wands, this web. Like the places that this situation penetrated, the people, like they're gonna lose out on a lot more than they maybe had thought. It's in like whatever the structure was, it really, really embedded itself in their life. And so it's probably beyond just themselves, right? They're thinking of more than just themselves right now. And they're like, what they want is to reach out, is to initiate, is to invite. That's what the Knight of Cups is. Is kind of like have like an invite, like, but is this the week? Is this week really appropriate? Or is even the entire month of December appropriate? Maybe I should just wait till January. World card. Like one cycle ends, another begins. Where everything's behind us. Because like if you set like if this is a separation, friends, family, if there's children, like all of that shit can be impacted. And it's like, do I rock the boat by and the funny thing is with the hermit, I don't think that this person is around anybody. Like they might I get this feeling of like, having conversations, but they're really kind of like withholding. Four of Cups. They're withholding. They're kind of like Hierophant talks about bringing something into a reality. Like it's almost like this contract, whatever this is, that's meant to I say contract, but it's kind of like something that's meant to come together. There's a soul connection of some sort that meant to come together meant to come together in reality, like not just exist in a potentiality, right? And that starts with a little something, a little friendly something, right? A little something that can go further. It has to start somewhere. Um, you know, which Three of Pentacles talks about like the collaboration meeting up. So, like just like it's a bit of a social, a little more social energy. So I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. Swords. All the while trying to maintain some type of a balance. Like I'm trying to figure this out. I don't know if this is Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles is about bringing something into balance. It is the idea of where do I direct my energy? Who do I give to, right? Because usually in Rider Waite, there's this gentleman and there's two people wanting or vying for somebody's attention or needing something from them. And it's like they should be making the decision based on what it is that they want. Again, whatever situation or circumstance they've pulled out from, people may be trying to, again, they've been trying to maintain appearance. But I feel like they just said that's been foiled though. So they're just not trying to rock the boat. They're trying not to rock the boat. So what is going to be their, what are they going to do this, like what? Knight of Cups. Third time. I think that this is saying we felt like the last minute judgment call, all they got to do is decide. I said that earlier between the Magician and the Judgment card, and I'm thinking that's what it is. Like the hesitancy that's been here has been, how do I keep the peace? How do I, but I really want this. And I don't even think that this individual owes anything to anybody. And like, because there's an invitation that wants to be extended. Third time for the Knight of Cups. What is this invitation? It's something to initiate something with the new path that they've left everything behind for. But again, I mean, it feels very trying to be very integral, a very integral individual. Sorry, sometimes my eyes. They're gonna decide. They're gonna decide. They're gonna extend, invite, initiate. This week? Is that this week? Well, it's gotta be. 'Cause I asked her, "What are you gonna do this week?" And they're like, "Knight of Cups." So they've waited to the last minute, but it's almost like, why am I doing without over the holidays for the sake of others, for the sake of some kind of image? So somebody may be receiving. It doesn't mean like they. I think they're gonna do this for them. They're reaching out to somebody else. And again, whoever that is has not shown up because we are talking about the situation at hand and what it looks like in the dynamics of it, but there's been no persons except for the King of Cups, the magician himself, herself. And so they aren't talking about who or what they left or who or what they're moving towards. We're not getting specifics on either side or either one. It is more about the dynamic of what has been occurring, why there's been a slow process, a really integral individual, a lot of integrity. Wanting to do it the right way. But they finally reached the point where it's like, because I get an alone energy. Even though I feel people, because we got the Three of Pentacles, which talks about the network and individuals and things like that. Um, they're gonna wanna meet up. They're gonna actually reach out. It doesn't mean that will happen this week. It means that they're gonna go, "You know what? My gift to me is initiating this finally." Because I feel like they initiate it this week, because beyond this week, Like we said, the whole cycle's done and over with. It's one thing is they've made it through the holidays. Knight of Pentacles. Oh, this is real. They mean it. This is for real. What are they gonna what is the invitation to? Well, looky, looky. Now somebody pops out. There's a Queen of Wands. Oh, now we're getting to know the people involved. So the Two of Pentacles. It's like the shifting of priorities, the shifting of in this particular one, you're kind of like weighing up where are you going to put your energy into. Again, we've gotten that before, but this Two of Pentacles is saying, look at how they're looking at this one. Like now I can focus on this one. Now I can put my energy into this one. Queen of Wands. So there's something new that's going to happen between a Queen of Wands and an Emperor. And it's going to happen very quickly, spontaneously. Like you're just like it's legit, it's for real, it's the Knight of Pentacles, it's sincere, it's integral. Um and this person may have also wanted to not give off an appearance to whoever they're extending this to. Um they may have been in this Four of Cups energy to kind of like let some time lapse so that they're not giving the appearance of like you're not just an afterthought, you're not just I'm not just jumping from one person to the next, or I don't know, it kind of gives the energy of my approach needs to be appropriate. Um so I withheld for a little bit to kind of like really one give other people this past situation time to acclimate and not it's like not throwing things up in people's face. um but it's like this week they're almost like quick as shit, can I just say, on a dime. Once they decide, that's it. I said that before, magician and judgment, they're going to get exactly what it is they want, like on a dime. They decide and they move towards it. They're choosing to put their focus on one particular area, that path, the other one, you know, I mean, Nine of Cups. They will move very quickly towards what it is that they want. Soul connection, Six of Cups. They feel really good about this. They feel Four of Pentacles is kind of like in a really good place, feeling really stable, really grounded, very rooted, capable of kind of like they're in a place to invest in the future because the Four of Pentacles talks about investment. Six of Cups, soul connection. Okay. Anything else that you want to? We're going to give Golden Universal a shot, and then we're going to wrap it up. So, yeah, something that they felt tethered in a particular situation. Okay, that's the Devil. Like they were really having to with the Eight of Swords. That's the reason why they were holding back. Again, they just didn't feel like they could just yet, so they withheld. But over here, we have the Hanged Man, which is a different like waiting for things to shift. Not yet, not yet, not yet. Okay, now. Something about, again, with the chariot, things aligning, things that felt like they were being pulled in different directions are now suddenly aligning. Um, and it's okay to move forward. So there's something in their perception of, again, I think it has everything to do with the timing, the holidays, all the people this impacts, uh, the appearance of things, wanting to be integral about this whole process, uh, appearance of things towards whoever they want to move towards. And they're like, you know what, now's the time. Like that, they have a different perspective. They gave it time. They gave it time. They withheld. They gave it time. And now they're ready for this. Four of Wands, Ace of Cups, coming together. Coming together. So, alrighty, I'm gonna leave it there. It seems as though it just seems to hit them. Especially with the holidays behind them, they're like, okay, now I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. So, I hope the message finds whoever it's meant for. I hope that it was beneficial. And I will see you guys at the next read, okay?